Well, that didn't take long, did it? Hey Korra friends, heard about the new Avatar series? Gonna be a great time, I think. Can't wait for it. You know what else is gonna be a great time? Jumping back into Korra defense mode for the next decade to make sure she doesn't become the most hated character in the Avatar universe, which unfortunately seems to be the case at this time. But also, she'll never be all the way hated because there is almost nothing they could do to get me to dislike this character, especially after everything she went through in her own series. If everyone on Earth hates Korra, that means I have sadly passed away. So my fellow Korra fans, do not fear. We will always exist and we will be louder than ever to drown out all that overt negativity. That is the opposite of everything these shows try to teach you, by the way, but nice media literacy to these people who hate Korra for being flawed. Which is the purpose of this video. There's been so much negativity surrounding this new announcement, I just wanted to put out my video saying, I'm still on Korra's side. She's my girl. For those who have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, the official Avatar creators announced a new series across social media, and obviously given how long it's been since Korra ended, people are ecstatic about possibly getting back into this universe again. There's just one problem. It's not the same universe we left. In the teaser concept, Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino state that there has been a major cataclysm and the state of the world has shifted into chaos, and the Avatar is no longer viewed in a positive light. And, in an extremely predictable move, many people jumped immediately to the conclusion that Korra ruined the world! Worst Avatar ever! Never gonna beat the allegation! She sucks! They proved me right! Or going on to my recent Korra video and saying that it aged horribly because of this announcement. That video is a list of reasons about why I like The Legend of Korra and think that it's better than The Last Airbender. In what way does this announcement have anything to do with that statement? Or did you just not watch the video? It's kind of hilarious to me how Korra lives rent-free in these people's minds. They hate to see her win so badly. They need to cope and pray for her downfall. It's honestly kind of sad how much time they spend thinking about hating her. Sorry that I prefer Korra over The Last Airbender and there's nothing you can do about it, and that Korra got a happy ending with some incredible development and a sexy genius girlfriend. You can seethe forever. It's not gonna change that. This is genuinely the case though for many of these people. They don't want Korra to be seen positively, and it kills them that most people don't hate her at all. They're just a very loud minority. Most people who are fans of the show, even those who prefer The Last Airbender, don't hate Korra or want to blame her either. These people are just trying to calm themselves down after one gay kiss pissed them off eternally over a decade ago now. Like, okay, stay mad forever, I guess. I mean, y'all have really not opened your water chakra, and it shows. Here's the kicker. They in no way specify that Korra is the cause of this cataclysm. From my perspective, it seems like they're setting up the fact that she passed away attempting to stop this cataclysm, and that perhaps that's why people do not favor the Avatar anymore, since she did not succeed. I really doubt Bryke would do something that inherently puts Korra at the center for the cause of this cataclysm, especially when they themselves have stated they feel Korra is over-criticized, especially when compared to Aang. And while I'm not sure about her possibly not receiving a happy or blissful ending, to be fair, we never really learn how Aang dies either. There's no indication that he had one either. I'm sure they will do our girl justice, and I definitely trust them, which is why I'm still excited for this show. Even if this is the case, though, you know people are going to blame Korra for the fact that she can't get anything done. I mean, I've seen this discussion resume recently, and it's insane to me how many people think that her opening the spirit portals was a mistake. That brought back the Air Nation. Hello? Spirits and humans living in harmony as it was always intended to be? Hello? No credit given at all.
I've realized that even though we should learn from those who came before us, we must also forge our own path. So that is why I've decided to keep the portals open.
And people often cite the fact that she always loses and this is the defining loss of her career as an Avatar. Well, yes, she does take a lot of hits in fights across the series. That is a ridiculous claim, especially since every conflict is dealt with, and she comes out on top by the end of the series. How are you gonna say she loses? The key moment being in book 4 when she straight up bends cosmic energy and opens a hole in space-time. Yeah, but you know, she didn't get anything done. That's right, she was so weak. She never, ever gets credit for the giant spirit portal in the heart of Republic City, which is such a beautiful development, or the fact that she straight bent pure energy in an act of compassion towards one of the worst villains we've ever met. Absolutely insane development and a beautiful moment that so many people just ignore. But you know what? Even if it is directly her mistake, based on an error in judgment, a direct choice, would that be uncommon for an avatar to do? Inadvertently creating a conflict for the next person? Or not so much creating a conflict, but not effectively dealing with it? They kinda all do that. But I do appreciate it, as it's a nice shake-up to this world, and it creates the ability for them to explore new tones and themes, like Korra itself did, kind of reinventing The Last Airbender, and I like that they're continuing this with each major series. We've also returned to the lovely argument that the new Avatar is going to feel shortchanged by the fact that Korra is the only one who can give them advice. While yes, that is a definite shift from the state of the Avatar from the previous 10,000 years, one, how would this new Avatar know about the concept of the past lives at all? Especially if society is in tatters. How are they gonna get that information? They'll just have Korra there, and Korra can choose whether or not to tell them. Besides, Korra ended the series as such a wise woman, it is such a discredit to her development to say that she wouldn't be able to give any useful advice. Also, can I just say that it's so funny that in season 1, Korra haters say that she's bailed out by the past lives, so then they get rid of the past lives so she has to do everything on her own, and people say she's the worst Avatar ever. She literally can never win. And 2, when the actual fuck did Aang listen to his past lives for advice? I honestly can't think of a single instance where they gave him a lesson that he actually took and learned from. In the finale of the series, he's pretty much just looking for affirmation on what he already believes, one of my biggest points of contention with that series ending. I never really appreciated that choice, and it made the past lives feel largely inconsequential in my mind by the end of the series. But regardless of how you perceive them, they definitely didn't change much of Aang's perception on the current conflict. I don't dislike The Last Airbender at all, by the way, but like I said in my Korra video, it's not immune to criticism, as many people like to pretend, and I'm getting pretty fucking tired of people pretending Korra is objectively worse. Art is subjective. Period. People have claimed that there are writing standards that they could compare that proves definitively that Last Airbender is a better story, but please tell me where these standards are, because I feel like whoever created those standards is just voicing their opinion. And restricting art to a set of standards anyway is just an awful, awful idea. Don't constrain the artist to some arbitrary storytelling techniques that have perhaps worked in the past. They take some huge swings in Korra, and from my perspective, they pay off, especially with regards to the quality of the character development in all of Team Avatar. Not just Korra, but mostly Korra. It's alright if they don't work, in your opinion, but at the end of the day, it's your opinion. There's no standard in writing that says removing the past lives was a bad choice subjectively. I've got some opinions about The Last Airbender that are why I like it less, but I don't consider those as bad writing choices, because whenever I voice them, many people are able to come up with valid arguments why they enjoy it. Because art is subjective. Mostly though, the past lives were just used as a bailout mechanic in The Last Airbender. Yeah, I said it. When there wasn't any other way to peacefully end a situation, and you know, Appa isn't around to just fly them off into the sun like he does every other episode. Ooh, I'm getting salty. I'm probably gonna edit a lot of this out. Or they would come when there was needed exposition and no other way to get it. And one thing that I loved about Korra was that she didn't have that ability to get bailed out, or to ask for advice and then ignore it. She had a much harder job of no one telling her exactly what she was supposed to be doing. She had to trust her own instincts and make a decision based on what she felt was best, and the wisdom of those living people around her, at least after. Because of this, she was able to confront her deepest insecurities and fears much more viscerally. And it's insane to me to think that people say that Korra has more help. From a storytelling perspective, I think it's much smarter and more grounded. It allows the writers to have Korra more directly forge her own path as an avatar, making decisions based on what she thinks is best, and utilizing the wisdom of the many people around her, the bonds that she's formed. And again, it's not like I hate the concept of the past lives at all. I'm just saying that it's not necessarily overtly a bad decision for them to get rid of them. Now, to be fair, we don't necessarily know she didn't caused the cataclysm either. Even if it is a consequence of her own actions, it's no reason to blame her. In what world would Korra want to destroy society as she knew it? She fought to protect Republic City and order across the world with all her heart. There's a really big problem in this fandom with victim blaming, where people always blame Korra for losing the past lives when, you know, they were forcibly ripped out of her after she fought as hard as she possibly fucking could. In what world is that her fault? I've even seen some recent discussion in the Korra subreddit about how the past lives getting ripped out of her scene is a metaphor for sexual assault, and how people blaming her is really telling about how people react to victims of sexual assault in real life as well. Practically every avatar creates a conflict that the next incarnation will need to solve. Yang Chen left a menacing dark spirit in her wake. Kuruk left the 4 nations in a state of chaos. Kyoshi's creation of the Dai Li led to the fall of her homeland, and of course Roku essentially created the Fire Nation threat for Aang to deal with by making errors in judgment with Sozin and his relationship. Korra led an era of monumental change in the world, and fundamentally altered the course of the Avatar society for generations to come. It makes sense to me that there would be another huge upheaval before her time as the Avatar was finished, but she doesn't deserve the blame just because it occurred during her time. That doesn't necessarily mean it's her fault. There's also a great surge of homophobia and racism coming forth with these criticisms, literally calling Korra the N-word and saying that's why she could never be trusted. Wow! The media literacy levels are actually in the negatives for these people. Iroh would literally smite the homophobes and racists with lightning the second you showed up in his vision. Aang would despise you for trying to argue that one avatar is better than another, and that you're using him to take Korra down. He'd look absolutely down on those fans with insane disappointment. Key clue that some people watch these shows for the fights and cool magic and not actually any sort of in-depth commentary. Like, did you watch or listen to any part of this show and what the avatars are fighting against? Generally, by the way, the answer is no. A lot of people who criticize Korra did not even finish the show, which is why they only bring up the mistakes that she made in books 1 and 2. Like, okay, way to criticize something you haven't even watched. I love that people latch on to the whole love triangle thing as a reason for why they hate her, like blaming a teenager for doing an extremely teenager thing for the rest of their life, even after they save the world like 6 times. Like, what is wrong with you? If she worked everything out with those guys, apologized, and they're all cool now, why are you still bugging? Y'all just justifying homophobia and racism because Korra could have possibly made a mistake. Okay, Ozai, nice one. We are literally spending the entire series trying to defeat you, but whatever, the entire point just flew into the stratosphere above your head. This is not even an argument that I'm going to refute or that anyone can refute. It's just overt racism going around. Because Aang could make 1 million mistakes and no one would care, but as soon as a woman of color possibly makes one, that confirms all their racist beliefs. Cool, got it. I wouldn't really worry or stress about these people. Kinda just gives them power. There's no arguing with someone whose only point is to spew hate. They won't listen to any facts you provide, trust me. Their entire viewpoint is based on anything but. And these same people 100% would not get through a minute of my video without saying that they can already tell what I'm going to say because I have a gay voice. You got it. You have really figured everything out. Congrats to you. I mean, except for how to look for any sort of deeper meaning in any piece of media you watch. You're struggling a little bit with that. But the rest, you're golden. This is not criticizing everybody who likes Legend of Korra less than The Last Airbender, or even those who perhaps disliked Legend of Korra overtly. That's fine. I mean, opinions are opinions, y'all. But the surge of hate towards Korra as a character is extremely visceral and so disgusting. It has gotten so bad over the past week from this announcement, and I just wanted to put out a video that would spread some positivity about Korra and the new series, showing that some people out there still love our girl, and there's nothing they could do to change that, even if it is her fault. I don't care. I still appreciate the development, and avatars make mistakes. Anyway, if you agree with this video, support us on Patreon at patreon.com/PosiTVty to get extra content in the form of unedited essays and all of these videos before they come out on here. But also, the support on YouTube means a lot. Discuss further in the comments below. I appreciate hearing from you guys. Unless you're homophobic or racist, please get that shit out of here. That's not cool. But no, I will delete your comments because fuck that. We don't fuck around with hate speech here, so get that shit out. But I will see you guys for the next one, and hopefully it's a little bit less angry than this one. Had to turn into negativity here.